everybody. I'm Anita Finley, and I'm waving to you because I want you to know this is real. And this is the Zoomer Times TV presentation with Mark Morowitz. And Mark has been one of our favorite people who we interview. He writes a great column every month in Boomer Times. And Mark is actually a CPA, but he's a humanist, as well as a CPA. And so many of you have CPAs you probably don't do much talking to. You just give them your information. That's not Mark. And he wrote an article in our December issue, and it was a little startling at first when I saw it said, "Hate you at home," because he's not that kind of a person. But after you read the article, you understand what he meant. So, Mark, why don't you just kind of edit that article in a sense for everybody right now, and then talk about what's really happening in the world of accounting and how people are thinking about it, and about you. I know you're going to have a birthday soon, so looking forward to ever.
So I'll address the article first, and I'm going to have to remember I don't have it in front of me.
It's okay.
Basically, the last few months have been full of hatred. It's almost like we're in the midst of a civil war, and it's over misinformation. And it's like if you don't agree with people, they hate you, and they don't want anything to do with you. And it's just created a situation in this country where it's no longer fun to be an American. I mean, we're looked upon by people in the rest of the world. We always say, I wonder why people hate us around the world. Now we know this because they watch the way we behave and we act. And I say that in general terms. Obviously, not everybody is hateful and things like that. But Americans tend to be very importunate. That's a word that I learned in I think 12th grade, and I finally got to use it. It means troublesomely demanding. So we want what we want when we want it. And, it doesn't work that way across the rest of the world. So, while the rest of the world likes our travel dollars, they laugh at us behind our back, and they see what's happening in this country now. And it's just sad. It's just really sad. They always look to this country as the leader of the world. And who knows? I mean, they can speak to two people in the same household and get totally different stories on what's going on in this country. And it's really sad. We really need to, to get everything, to get the facts straight, okay? And we can, sit down with 5 different people and have 5 different sets of facts depending on where they get their news from. And it's really crazy.
Mark, I must say this, though. I think it became contagious. What we were going through did affect a lot of other countries around the world, whether it was Brazil or whether it was, Venezuela or even France and England. And so it really wasn't just us. It was everywhere.
But it's the ruination of democracy. And, and if you look at the leaders of those countries, mm-hmm. Hungary and Venezuela, they are all autocrats, and they all behave the same way. And the misinformation campaign and the disinformation campaign is out of the Hitler playbook in the 30s and 40s. And George Orwell in his book 1984, I don't know if you've read that.
Yes, I did read that a long time ago. Right?
I highly recommend that. I didn't read that in high school. Most other people did. I somehow got out of reading it. And my son made me read it about 10 years ago, and I was flabbergasted. And here we are back in 1984. And it's really, really frightening to me. And when people
I appreciate everything you're saying. And I'm wondering, like you said, your son now read it and he's talking to you about it. So are the young people going to continue this, or are they going to say, wait a minute, we can't do this anymore? What do you think?
It's a very interesting question. It depends on where they are, okay? And, I know like my kids all have their own thought processes and ideas. they have distrust of government to begin with, okay? And not everybody in government for some strange reason. I don't know why that is, but it's pretty healthy. And we should not put our entire trust in our government. We need to hold them accountable, and they have stopped becoming accountable, the federal government, and probably all the way down to to the state and local governments as well. And it's a tough world out there, and the younger people, unless they're lucky enough to be in some kind of a profession that basically affords them a solid income for the rest of their life, they're in a bad place. The young people today. So I put my trust in them. I believe that the young people will step up to the plate, just like we did. Our generation did. Now, it's funny. I remember one of my close friends, one of my old roommates, became an attorney. But before that, in college, he was like always anti-everything, anti this, anti that, down with authority and down with this and that. And when we got out of college, he went to law school. And I remember a bunch of us got together before my wedding down in New York City. And we were talking, and he started talking about, stuff. And I said, when did you change? When did that all happen? He said, you know what? You get out of school, you got to pay your bills, you got to make a living, and you got to join the world. And I think that, that's kind of what's going to happen. And hopefully the younger people will step up to the plate and they'll take over. And I put my full trust in them. I have a young dentist, I have young attorneys, young everything. And we got to start trusting them. That's the way the world continues to go.
So Mark Morowitz is my guest, and I'm going to give you a phone number. If you'd like to talk to him, if you're looking for an excellent CPA with a heart, you'll call him. His number is 609-338-3603. Is that right, Mark?
That is correct.
609-338-3603. Mark Morowitz, Morowitz. You can read his columns in Boomer Times. You can go back in all the issues and see them, and you can see it in the December issue, and it says, hatred at home. But I just wanted to say, thinking as you were talking, Vietnam was the beginning where their kids started doing things that were against what their families really liked. That was the outbreak, I think. I wasn't part of that, but
like
that
what? What
really
kind of things? What kind of things are you referring to?
Well, when they had all these, they were against the war, and they made it known that they were against the war, and they took off their shirts and their clothes, and they got into marijuana. They did things which were absolutely, devastating to their parents, because that's not what the parents were thinking.
Right. That was the way people protested back then.
Right.
They had love-ins and things like that. But I got to tell you, as somebody who went through the last draft lottery in this country, okay, sitting in our column as a freshman in college, sitting in our dorm rooms, everybody listening to the radio for our number, okay, because if you got number 30 or below, you were going to Vietnam, okay, after college, because we had a deferment until after we graduated. So this was in 1970. I guess 71 when we turned 18. I turned 18 in 71. So we sat there and listened to it, and I got like number 120 something. So I was pretty safe, but the war ended before I graduated from college. So nobody I know went to Vietnam. I do have friends that since college that served a couple of terms in Vietnam, and it was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience. And it was a war that nobody appreciated. There were wars we shouldn't have been in. And when the war ended, all of the Vietnam veterans were treated horribly when they came home. I mean, it took 30 years for people to recognize the fact that they were veterans. And why the more times this country involves itself in things like that, the worse it is, the harder it is for people to believe in and trust in their government. So,
Mark, I think that's all true. Everything you've just said is true. However, I think what we weren't prepared for was a global economy and the internet and what it's done. So if someone breathes too hard down your street, it's going to get on the internet. It's going to get on social media. We're experiencing something that I wasn't in 1984, the book either. This is something no one ever experienced. And I don't know if there's a book about this.
Well, I mean, there's a ton of books about it. Technology is just changing daily. And no, we weren't ready for the technology part of it. In 1998, I was with a firm in Atlantic City, and we were getting these things called desktop computers, and
Right.
Windows was coming out, okay? And this guy came to teach us how to use the Windows computers, and he mentioned this thing called the information superhighway.
Yeah.
And we said, what are you talking about?
Right.
He said, you're going to be able to do things like shop online and learn online. Or you couldn't even imagine what he was talking about. And the internet had been around for years before that, but it was only used, privately. And look how quickly that thing took off. So every day there's something new out there,
Yes.
and there are very, very brilliant people doing things that we don't even know about. And hopefully their intentions will be good and all will be well with the world. Because this world, you can't be individualized in this world. This world everything's global. Everything is intertwined. The climate, medicine, everything. You can't do one thing without the other. You can't eliminate Africa from getting vaccinated for COVID-19 because that they're going to come here. We're going to go there. You can't isolate people anymore. The world is just too small.
Well, I'm fascinated with the Queen of England and all her family. And so every day it appears I get to see her grandchildren. I get to see all these people. And so that would never have happened if we didn't have the internet. You may have to wait for a magazine, but let me just go back to something. When I was not really in the publishing business per se. I was doing marketing and I was doing gerontology. And when I decided to do a magazine, the way we did it is we cut and pasted things. We took it to the graphic designer, and then we had to go to a printer. I waited days at the printers. Now I do everything online.
Yeah.
So there has been great, good things. A lot of wonderful things have happened, just like I'm very much into cooking. So I can get online and see these wonderful people making food that I love. That's the good part. The bad part is what you said. People pick on one another. The humanity of human beings is what I have been very sad about.
You're right. And think about this, 30 years ago, before the internet, before social media, if you were to insult somebody to their face, you get punched in the face, so you wouldn't do it. Now you can insult me because right here on Zoom, right? And I can't hit you because you're someplace else. So the fear of retribution, is kind of physical retribution is kind of dissipated. Now it's, people look for arguments today. It's like people have so much time in their hands to argue about everything. And it's just sad. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
This holiday time, though, and with COVID, I think has brought out a lot of happy times in families. I've noticed that even my family, they're a little bit more, they take the time a little bit more, and they realize that we can't be together. And so there have been very good things happening. Unfortunately, not all over 300,000 people here dying, but there have been very good things because it brought people back to humanity in some way. And I don't know how you want to describe that, but do you see that at all?
I'm not sure. A lot of people can't function as family if they're not together. Listen, we got to sacrifice. I'm not sure that I see what you see. A lot of people, they got together for Thanksgiving, and that's why we're spiking right now. And
No, they didn't have to do that, right?
you
No.
know, and people just have to sit back. We've got less than a year before things can be considered relatively normal. I mean, it's a year, you know, to the younger people, it's just a year, you know, just hang in there. Everybody hang in there for a year. Don't do anything silly, and just let's all get back to, you know, things that we love, and you know, stop hating each other. Everybody, you know, let's love each other. Like John, you know, if John Lennon was still alive today, if
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was still alive, well, you know,
Right.
over the years, who
Yeah.
knows how great this world and this country and the world could have been? I don't know, but it seems like only the good die young.
Well, you know, but really, and I have to say that I agree with you in so many ways, but on the other hand, there have been so many good people doing good things for people. I mean, you know, I don't know, it was LeBron James that donated enough money to get people out of prison so that they could vote. You see good things if you look for them. A lot of people don't have the money, but they figure out how to volunteer and give out. Someone's giving out all this food, all the packages, even with COVID, they line up to help people, and they don't even have enough themselves. So I am an optimist. I always try to look at that side of it, even though I'm not saying there are not bad things happening, but there are good things. And I've always said that every news show at the end should have one good hero or one good happy thing that happens, because they leave us with very sad, you know, terrible things. And that's not a good way to go to sleep or to walk around.
The news shows I watch do have, you know, the good stuff at the end. They do.
They do. What are they?
I watch the 6 to 9 a.m. show on CNN. They always end with the good stuff. You know, just I think NBC, if I ever catch that at night, they always end up with something good. And, you know, you're right, they should end up with something good. But, you know, and there are a lot of people doing wonderful things out there. There really are. The problem is that at the same time as they, like LeBron James, for all the good that he does, he gets vilified for not giving away all of his money. And, you know, I mean, you know, so it puts a damper on it. It's just, I don't know. It's just the expectations in this country have to start to be managed a lot better than they are.
I think we're going to see good things happening now with change of government. I just think some things will happen. Let me tell everyone again, Mark Morowitz, Morowitz, and his phone number is 609-338-3603. 609-338-3603. Write that down. If you're, you know, people want to know, gee, what am I going to do about my taxes? I don't know where to go. Don't just look in a, you know, in a directory. Call someone that you've met, you've seen him here. We totally approve of him. We salute him, because he does a lot of good things he doesn't tell you about, but we know what he does. 609-338-3603.
If I can just talk a little bit about the proposed stimulus.
Oh, do please.
Okay, so from what I see, and I don't know anything more than anybody else, they're talking about a $600 payment to people that qualify for it.
Unemployment, you mean?
Not unemployment, 600. Remember last time we got $1,200.
Oh yeah, that's what I see. Oh, it's down to 600 now?
Down to 600.
Oh.
Okay, which, yeah, I know, exactly. And unemployment, if you get unemployment, they're gonna tack $300 onto it this time.
Right.
Who knows? I mean, you know, that's part of it. Then they'll get something out now, hopefully before Christmas, but it's a little late for that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, after Christmas, everybody will be, you know, who can't afford to pay their rent, they're still, you know, $600 isn't going to do much. And then there's not going to be anything for the kids, just $600 for each adult. So who knows what's going to happen? That's the best I can tell you at this point. And that probably is just phase one. There probably will be another, at least one or two more, you know. And listen, you know, I'm all for borrowing for good reasons, this money that's being given to the citizens of this country is is borrowed money. Okay, it's not in the budget. So
Right.
give people a lot of money. Let them go out there. Let them pay their bills. Get whole. Start spending money when they can out in the economy, and get the economy moving. If you're just going to give people $600 now, what's going to happen in April?
Right.
When people are going to be able to start going out because they've been vaccinated, and
Yep.
there's not going to be anything there to spur the economy.
Yeah. You're very right, Mark.
They
Yep.
got this. They got this backwards. They got it,
Yeah.
bass backwards. You know what I mean? And
You're right.
Call everybody. Call your congressman. If they answer the phone, give them hell. That's what I say.
No, you're right. What you've just said is true, that since it's borrowed money anyway, give everybody a lot of money, and then that will bring back businesses. That will bring back everything. But I agree with you so much, and especially the people who are making those judgments, they live in a nice little world. They have their money coming in. I've always said that we should pay our congressmen and our senators and government what people get. They should be, if we don't get it, they shouldn't get it. I've always thought about that, but never worked that way.
I'm all for that, but you're going to have to ask them to change the law.
I know that, Mark. Well, I think that you do the best that you can do, and I'm hoping that all of us survive, as a matter of fact, or we do something, but we have to stay healthy. We have to be filled with love and find good in even the littlest thing. I took a walk this morning with my dog, and I started to see things I've been looking as I walk a lot more. I see little bugs. I see little flowers on trees. I see things that, maybe I didn't see before, because I'm looking for things that make me happy.
Yeah, I do the same thing on my bike ride every day. Yesterday, I saw 3 giant ducks yesterday. 2 of them were on the roof of my clubhouse, and one was in the parking lot. And as I rode my bike by him, he flapped his wings and started quacking, and he was crazy. He was totally quackers, He was not. I think the 2 on the roof were doing something, and he was like the lookout for them. So as soon as my bike would come by, he would like try to get me to get off my, to go away. And he's, but I think he ended up, I scared him away, by the way. So
no, but you're all right. We are seeing, and a lot of birds have come back. I think because we don't have as many vehicles running around, we don't have all the activities, and so I think that's a good part. And I'm always trying to find the good part. Now the kids in school, that's another whole story, and hopefully the children will get back to school, but they'll get back safely. Some places are safer than others, but I have been reading how that has been affecting not so much just children, normal children, but children who've had certain kinds of difficulties. It's been hard on them because they can't handle Zoom. That's not what they need. But
yeah.
I think we'll catch up, Mark. I truly believe that. I believe in the human spirit, and we ought to all get back to the Dr. Seuss books. Remember those?
Or at least live by the golden rule,
Oh, of course.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that spans political affiliation, religion, everything.
Yes.
Just be a good person. If we all spent our day being a good person, this world would be a much better place.
That's always been my religion. That's what I try. I try to do it. I try to help other people see that, and people need to volunteer. It makes people so happy when they're helping other people, volunteering. We've been very involved with the Bolin Center, and the volunteers there are marvelous. And the people who go there, the attendees, some of them are elder, they play the piano, they play bingo, that's what they need, but they're not, I don't think they've come back yet. They're on the verge. They do have daycare there, and that's important, but you do get out of your world, even though you're in a financial world in a sense. You do have a heart, and I know that, and I'm glad that you and your son now will probably be doing something fun, and I'm glad that maybe a new business. But we have to, the golden rule is the key. And you need to remain safe and secure, and tell your people who want you to come up north, no, 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 let's keep doing Zoom.
I'm going to do that because, you know, you get a little too comfortable in your world here, and that's okay. And, you know, I can make a trip up every so often, but, you know, I'm at the point now where, and I think people got used to it last year. So, yeah, I'll just mail it to you. It's okay. It's all right. You know, or scan it to me or whatever. I taught people that they all have a scanner. As long as if they have a smartphone, they have a scanner, and it works out fine.
Take a picture and send it. Right.
Take a picture and email me the picture.
Right.
Actual size, and it's wonderful. You know?
I know it. You know, you're so right. And on my last interview, I don't know if you saw the it's called the Chess Gambit. I think it was called the Chess Gambit. If I
Netflix.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Gambit and
Chess Gambit. Is that the name? The last thing is Gambit. Let's see.
Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it's the Queen's Gambit. I'm sorry.
Queen's Gambit.
It's about chess.
I've heard
The Queen,
great things
don't
about it. I
miss
haven't
it.
seen
No,
it.
no. You and your son need to see the Queen's Gambit. I saw it. I was thrilled. I used to play chess, not a lot, but I knew enough about it, but you don't have to. That's what you want to see. It will give you such heart and it give you such emotion. I hope you'll do that. That's a good thing because we're about out of time, but that's my last thing for you.
That was next on my list.
Good.
Queen's Gambit. Yeah.
Absolutely. It brings in every emotion, everything you would want. You'll be so happy after that, and make sure your son sees you with it, because
I will.
You know it's worth it, really. So, Mark, thank you so much for being with us for so long, and we hope that you do really well, and we're going to stay in touch.
I will, absolutely. Thank you for being who you are.
Yeah, thank you. Bye,
And
everybody.
happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Keep on the good side of everything. Golden rule, remember.
Golden rule, absolutely.
The golden rules, right. Thank you. Okay, we'll talk again. Our next interview is coming up.